Good morning. We're live now. It's already September 4th. I can't believe it's September.
Love it. The best.
We got Tommy here. We got Tommy Wilson from Texas here. I think we met, by the way, in Austin at the event. Did you go to
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We did. Healing Humanity.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Awesome. Well, there you go. So our morning giveaway today is the Kills This Keto is Carnivore book. Please put hashtag Kills KMT. I was going to say Kills This Keto is Carnivore.
and joining KMT is for free.
Yeah.
And we encourage everyone to join the carnivore course with Dr. Nelson and Aliyah, who have really helped spearhead this and develop it. And our job in life is to empower everyone with the knowledge of how to live a healthy life and changing our disease state to a health and wellness state. And truly our medical system has been misaligned, and we need to realign it, because we're not waiting for someone else to make it better. We're going to jump right in there. And we have Tommy Wilson here today, and Tommy Wilson's going to share his story. And we're hoping that everyone and anyone out there can come on and share their stories with us, because the stories really are the game changers, not the science, the stories. Dr. Nelson, before we get going with Tommy, do you have anything to start us off with?
Yes. If someone wants to tell their story, all they have to do is email Alia at drkills.com, and we can take care of that. This afternoon, we are having also at 3 p.m.
9 a.m.
3 p.m. we're having another live. We're going to have a couple of pharmacists that we met in Washington and in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
Talk about why they are not a mainstream medicine pharmacy anymore. And we thank Lisa Picard, who was our guest instructor yesterday in the certification course.
Since you brought up pharmacists, I want to bring up somebody real quick. So as you know, if you go to our Zoom calls, I usually have a guest speaker at our Monday night Zoom calls. On September 29th, we have Dr. Joseph Witt-Doring, who's I forgot where he trained, but he's a psychiatrist who was also in the FDA working on psychiatric medications. And I don't know if anyone saw this, but he was just on Tucker Carlson. His specific clinic works on getting people off of psychiatric medications. So he's a psychiatrist that works to get people off of medications, and he exposes the dangers of taking those medications. So if you are interested, go watch that Tucker Carlson episode, but also be on our Zoom call. And he's going to give advice how to safely get off of those if you're on them.
I was reading an article this morning about beta blockers, propranolol, 20 milligrams that everyone's taking now for anxiety and you know, it's sort of like what you've got something you're suffering from. Like, I'm nervous when I get up and talk, and I need a drug for that. I mean, why didn't I just get up and be a little nervous when I talk, and then suddenly after a minute or two or less, I'm not nervous anymore, or I'm nervous and I do it anyway.
Right.
Like I'm what's going on in our world?
Right. We've been brainwashed that we have something wrong with us. In addition to brainwashed that we're ugly, we're fat, we're stupid, we're all these things. There's all these things. So let's just take a pill to do everything. Let's do a dissection. Let's take the fat off. Let's do all these things. And it's just not natural. So I think we're here talking about what's natural. Tommy, what's natural?
Meat, water, and salt, man. No, I think that's absolutely right. You know, our society, I feel like, is so driven towards ease or comfort, or, hey, this is the quick fix, that if we jump on that, our life will be substantially better. And you take one small pill and it may address at best that one issue, but then you show up with 5 more, and then you have 5 more pills to pop in the morning. And, you're wondering why you're depressed, can't wake up, or feel wired all the time.
And then you go to the doctor, and instead of taking you off that medication, they add another medication to control the symptoms of what you
Yeah.
developed. Anyways, Tommy, why don't you go ahead and start tell us about yourself so people know who you are, where you're coming from, and your carnivore story.
Yes, sir. So my name is Tommy Wilson. I live in Pleasanton, Texas, which is about an hour south of San Antonio. I grew up in this area. I'm married. I have 4 children. Live overall just, I would consider, a really amazing life. And what's been real fun about it is really over this last year, starting carnivore, it just has really elevated it and really brought an element that I was missing. So growing up here in the area, my family farmed and ranched, as well as we run a land construction business that I'm currently involved in now. So clear trees, build roads, dig tanks, things of that nature. Pretty fun, drive bulldozers and big trucks and get to roll around the dirt some days, more than I'd want. But grew up, always considered myself healthy, was slender build, not very athletic, but I did run cross country because I thought, hey, healthy people run, so I'll run. Never really liked it, but I thought this is the least invasive health thing I have to do, so I'm going to do it. Went to college, lived my 20s, continued to just feel good about my life, eat what I wanted, occasionally would work out or whatever, but always felt health-wise that I was doing okay. Kind of a wake-up call for me was in 2009. I was snow skiing and really thought I was still feeling great in life, and went down 30 minutes after I started and tore my ACL. And that was kind of the very first time that something health-wise had happened to me that I couldn't just fix. I couldn't just jump up and run with. And it just kind of brought a little bit of a wake-up call in the sense of, hey, my body does have limitations and things do happen. And medicine is good. Surgery is good to fix those things, and really have recovered from there. But what was interesting is still had residual pain on occasion in that knee, residual issues, nothing bad, but just knew it was there kind of idea. And, talking to doctors, well, that's the way it is. We hurt ourselves, we live with it. It's painful, it's part of us. And so anyway, that happened. And then in my later 20s, I got married and got divorced. And that was another wake up call. Very, very shortly after being married, I was divorced, and kind of my world caving in. It was one of the most exciting times in life, then the worst times in life, in about a month. And that was a wake up call in a mental state of mind of saying, hey, this hurts mentally, and it's causing me physically to hurt. And at that time, really my health, more so than that first event, was negatively impacted. Ate more, put on weight, through not the best coping skills of that. And just kind of through my fast forward from that through my 30s and different things, got remarried, happily married, found a lot of healing there, and in that part of life. But I noticed still the habits of eating and stress and having a new family and the demands of that and work, as we all do, adds up on us. And instead of saying, I'm just going to push through that, it more so compounded. And so really, I would say I'm 39 now. And I would say around 37, just started to feel like my life was slowing down physically, slowing down mentally. I had a lot of friends that we would talk about this in my community, and they're like, well, that's getting old. That's what it is. That's aging. That's, there's kind of these terms that were thrown out there, and it just really bothered me. I'm like, man, if my life's on a downward slant already, man, that's hard to be happy about, you know? And so just really needing to feel something and really needing to connect with something that's new and life-giving. I really was searching, and I had a good friend. His name is Tobin Davies. He's actually been on a live call before. And last October, me and a friend from college, which were just best friends, met up, and we were just going to get together, have some dinner, and see how life was. So Tobin was on a pretty radical journey through COVID, got COVID, as many of us did, but it really knocked him off his feet. You know, he was there for hospitalized, and then went into a coma, and then had to come out rehab, really almost lost his life, you know, as a mid 30-year-old male. Anyway, put him on that health journey, and we talked about it and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's great, Tobin, you know, it's good and all that, but it's a little more radical than I want to be right now. Anyway, after that weekend, him just seeing him physically, hearing his story, seeing his recovery, to seeing his new growth, he said, man, this is what it is. I'm doing this thing called carnivore. There's this crazy guy out there called Dr. Kiltz. You should listen to him, and Ken Berry and stuff. And I was like, yeah, man, I don't know about all this. I love meat. Don't get me wrong. I love going to a Brazilian steakhouse or having a T-bone or whatever, but I don't know about eating it all the time. You know, what about your vegetables? You know, what about your vitamins? You're gonna hurt, you know. And he luckily suffered through all that with me, those questions and stuff. And it was in Houston, so it was about a 4-hour drive. He's like, just listen to these podcasts driving home. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do that. And so I started listening, and I was like, man, I don't know, maybe this might be kind of crazy, but you know, crazier things have happened. You live once, let's try it. I like meat. I mean, I'm not going to go wrong if at the end of the day you're eating meat, you know, that's enjoyable. So I got home, and, you know, I was discussing with my wife, you know, the weekend and just how fun it was and things. And I said, you know, Tobin told me just to eat meat, just to, you know, cut all this other stuff out and eat meat, salt, and water, you know. He calls it the lion diet. And my wife actually at that point was like, okay, yeah, I've heard of that. You know, that's Michaela Peterson. You know, we
Oh, wow.
listen to Jordan Peterson and things. And she's like, well, if Jordan Peterson's doing it, you know, it must be good. So I said, okay, you know, called him, said, I'll do it a month. And really, it was really interesting, you know, that first week, really seeing the level of mental and physical addiction towards sugar, towards what I think I needed as far as variety in my life. I just got angry. And I was, I guess, really jonesing for a hit of sugar. And, you know, about day 6, it was pretty funny. And I'm hoping, and I've talked with my wife, that I wasn't just insufferable as a person to be married to. But that day 6, I remember we were sitting in our kitchen, and she just kind of started laughing. She's like, you're so mad right now. I was like, I am. And I don't know why. I guess it's not having the sugar. But after that point, by about week 2, I started to feel, you know, mentally more clearer going to bed, you know. And about, I don't know, 2 months before that, I'd started working out again. And you know, it was after my birthday. So I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to work hard, you know, and that was a real drag. But I thought, okay, I got to do something. And so once I was on carnivore, though, starting to work out or starting to just live my life, to sleep, to my job of needing to critically think about things just seemed to really start falling in place. And I just felt like an energy level was there that I hadn't known in a really long time. A mental clarity was there. You know, I'm a pretty organized person, and even mentally pretty organized, and making lists in my head and stuff. But at that point, I felt like, well, I have to write everything down. I'm getting old. Write everything down. That's what people say. And I just started getting to ability where not needing that near as much, because just cognitively I was bam, bam, bam. Okay, that's how it was. And I just really felt a renewal. You know, I have a good friend. So another part of that is I have a Christian faith background. And I was talking to a friend, and this was several months later. And he started carnivore after kind of seeing some of my life change and talking. And he's like, have you noticed when you read the Bible and it's hard to understand, that it's just cognitively now you don't have to read it 5 times to get the meaning? And I said, you know what? That's true. And so it just these little things that just kind of continue to happen that I woke up on, and kind of within my small carnivore community outside of the larger community of friends that's local, we would have these discussions, and they're like, man, I sleep better. My BMs are better. My mental focus is better. My cravings at night, I don't feel like, I have to just look at the count or look at the clock and wonder if DoorDash is still going to deliver to my house, because I don't have to feel this huge need to get a hit of something. And so it really has been a wonderful life change. And it's really interesting because, in a lot of ways, my family, um, some have accepted it in the sense of, okay, that's what Tommy does and in this carnivore lifestyle. But kind of the other side of it is, oh man, you better watch out. You're going to kill yourself. They weren't real concerned when we do a pizza at 10 at night, or, the third slice of cake, or, the third beer or whatever. But when we started talking about eating meat, ooh, man, that's crazy stuff. And so it's been real interesting. I know it's beautiful, Dr. Kiltz. Love it. So I've been actually really blessed. So because we farm and ranch, I just got a 700-pound calf back that we butchered. And so I got a full freezer, and it's just, it's easy to know what's going to happen tonight for dinner. But
you mean no DoorDash today?
No
It's
Uber
really
Eats.
kind of funny. I'll get these emails from DoorDash, or the text is like, we miss you. Here's a coupon, Wingstop has new flavor. I know how much you love your wings, and it's funny. It's funny. But it's been a great journey. It's a great community. I've really enjoyed the coaching class. I really got to that with the idea behind it of, I want to learn as much as I can. My wife says I'm an all or nothing person. So once I find something I'm interested in, I'd really try to dive into it. And I really, through this class, thought, okay, I'm just going to gather all the information. I'm going to process it. I'm going to be able to see what applies to my life, and and really hold on to that and run with it. And what's been real fun with it is the friends and people over this kind of last year, because I started on October 15th, that I've seen have seen the change in me, just energy level and physically looking different. I've gone down 2 clothes sizes, which, at first it was like, I got to lose weight. I got to look good. I got to, and I'm thankful for some of those results, but I'm more thankful for just the way I feel. I feel like health is as much of a physical thing, but it's a state of mind. It's a state of gratitude, and being able to live in a positive way and feel like, what you want is achievable in life. And so these people and friends and stuff, as we've been able to discuss that and different things, have really, I've started to see life change with them, and I've been able to pull pieces of the coaching, both the really in-depth scientific part, Dr. Nelson, which I'm very thankful for, but for the glossary terms, this has been a while since college and cell biology and things of that nature. And I'm just like, oh man, this takes me back. And I appreciate all the tools like the AI to really help understand some of the stuff, but also the practical side of it, and the simplicity of it has been fun and encouraging. One of the biggest success stories, I've felt here on Carnivore that I feel like I've had an influence on is my pastor, who, he's in his mid 40s or so, and great guy, great leader, leads a church of about 1,000. And just getting to know him more and stuff. And when I started Carnivore and stuff, we discussed it, and he was like, yeah, no, there's this thing called keto flu, and yeah, I heard it almost killed a guy. This is crazy. Don't do that. You're gonna hurt yourself. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, this last summer we were meeting together and just talking and stuff. He's like, "Hey, tell me about carnivore." But really, really tell me about carnivore. And so he's kind of been on the journey these last 2 months and really seeing the change in him and the ability of community with him. It's been real fun. And I just think, and a lot of people have talked to him and other people. I was like, wow, Pete's looking great. Pete's doing something big here. And it's nice to be able to think of the people that we influence and the impact that they have. It's kind of this growing effect, and I've really been blessed by that. And the other simple side of it is just kind of my family dynamic and having them and embrace it. My wife, we have a great relationship. We're very close, and when she was like, "You can do carnivore, that's fine, but don't expect me, to jump on this bandwagon or whatever, this and things." And she was kidding in a lot of ways, but I think also serious. But kind of what also has grown out of carnivores is kind of this new love for cooking and grilling and smoking meats. And I just kind of was like, okay, well, I'm just going to cook meat, and you can have what you want, and I'll make enough for the whole family. And we've really started to slowly walk that direction. That, man, I mean, last night I should have took a picture. We had a Linka sausage, 2 steaks, and flank steak, and I cooked some bacon. And she was like, "Do we really need the bacon?" I said, "Absolutely, we need the bacon." And it was beautiful. It was fun. We got around the table, we enjoyed it, and felt full. Go to bed, don't have to think about ice cream or something like that, but satisfied and feeling good. So yeah.
you mentioned so the reasons you did it, you found improvement, but some other things you were not expecting, right?
Many things I was expecting.
And that's very often what happens. People started for whatever reason. The most common reason is, I want to lose weight.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not,
right here. That's what I want to do.
it's not exactly a weight loss diet per se. It's just proper way of eating. But a lot of people realize the mental benefits, the clarity, the anxiety, depression, and all these things that we get. And then a bunch of other things start getting better that you were not expecting. So
yes,
that is a very big benefit. I think most people realize the other things might be even more important than just weight loss. Now, the weight loss is nice, and that's where other people see in you. Okay, what are you doing? What
yeah.
what is it that you're doing? But many benefits. And the keto flu, a lot of people will get the symptoms of the keto flu. I don't think any of those symptoms is going to kill you. You just got to be careful with one of them in particular. Sometimes if you're on a high fat diet.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it really is. I'll just, something will change in my life, and it sometimes comes normal, and someone will ask me, or we'll be talking about something. I'm like, that is different in my life. And I start to kind of trace back what that is. And most of the times I can't really see a point, and it's usually something mentally that has changed, either a way of thinking or a cognitive ability that I didn't feel like I possessed before, or had as much focus or stamina or clarity on, that just happened. And it really feels like once I'm really fueling my body physically, I can do it. Mentally, I can do it. Cognitively, I can do it. And I feel so much more of a whole person. I think we have these pieces of us that make us our whole, our physicality, or our spirituality, our emotional state, our cognitive state, and just being able to see all those come together, and all of those heal and be moving on the same direction. It's not like, okay, I'm eating good, but mentally my mind's go out there, or spiritually I feel dead inside, but I'm doing these other things. I for the first time in a long time, I feel like everything is real holistic and moving that way, and I thank God for that. I think this is the way that our Creator made us to live, and really wanted us to live, to really be fully human, is to live this way on the proper human diet.
Alia, did you find the pictures?
I had them, and I'm going to keep looking.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. I had them.
Connecting community is so critical with all of us, and sort of through the issues that happen in the world, we've sort of become more sedentary, and there's a lot of loneliness and depression and anxiety, and we sort of now they're sending you something, a message that says, oh, you could be on this drug and you'll be happy again, and this is all you need. And I've got Anna, we got a KMT question here, if I could throw it out there for anyone to answer. Anna Kolash, hello, thank you for being able to connect here. I was wondering if it's possible that I don't get into gluconeogenesis, trying to get into Lion, but each time I drop dairy fruit, I can't sleep. I feel very tense and depressed, wired. I then give up and add dairy fruit back. I have autoimmune conditions, so would really want to get into Lion. Thank you. Any advice for Anna, who's having some problems? Like, how many of us have these problems?
Mm-hmm.
All of us.
Yeah.
Is she alone in this?
No.
What advice can we give Anna on how to sort of break through the barriers and get to the Lion side and leave behind the fruit and feelings of depression and things like that?
Well, I wonder how long she has gone without having the fruit or the dairy, because a lot of us may go through a period where we continue to crave. And if you're having no fruit and dairy for 3 days and then you have more, you're sort of feeding the cycle, right? I would like people to understand gluconeogenesis is a normal process that happens to all of us. So I don't understand when they say, oh, I would like to stop having. Well, it happens all the time. Whenever your body regulates that process, you shouldn't be trying to fight the body in the process. Eat the fatty meat, stay away from the fruit and the dairy, and long enough that your body doesn't cause you to have any triggers, any symptoms of withdrawal. Sometimes last night I was so tired, went to bed at 8 and woke up at 12. So I got up, was up for a couple of hours, went to bed again. So we have these periods of sometimes interrupting sleep, especially if in my case, I can't eat too late. I cannot go to bed with a full stomach. That messes me up. And I did eat and then went to bed. Anyways, so I don't know if I answer all the questions that she had, but
so number one is, if you eat the milk and the fruit, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, never give thought to anything other than good and great. That's number one. And number two is, someone stayed at my house while I was away, and I didn't know they were here. And I've got fruit and Coke in the fridge.
That's so funny.
And
great.
some apple juice. Okay. And there might have been like some granola and yogurt in a little plastic thing too. And
what kind of company are you keeping, Dr. Kiltz?
I don't know. I leave for a week or 2 weeks. I come home and like, who's been in my house, right? It's
Yeah.
like the
Like
and
the Three
so
Bears.
Goldilocks.
Goldilocks, yeah.
Yes. Who's been sleeping in my bed? But I would say number one is connection and community. And share, hey, I'm having hardships and challenges, which how many of us do? Most of us, if not all of us, right? And yet there's nothing wrong with it. Number one. Number two is you gotta get the trash can and you put all of this in it, and or the food pantry. Although I don't know why I'd share this with someone else when I think it's all garbage anyway. But I think it's get fill your home with lots of this or hamburgers and butter, and I'm a cream guy personally, and although I've been off coffee for 2.5 years, I'm having some coffee now, and am I losing sleep over it? I enjoy it from time to time with some butter and cream, and I would say like anything else, it's a journey that never ends.
Yeah.
That never ends. And oh my God, I had some cookie cake and ice cream last week. Like, again, I'm not going to be like, because then when you chastise yourself a negative way, then the negative feelings come up, and then what do you want to do now?
Yeah.
You want to really leap into the drugs and the diseases and things like that. And I'd say, hey, it's sort of like AA or the 12 steps. And although I just say there's nothing wrong with us, I would say you're fine. And Dr. Nelson, do you know anyone that absolutely is hypoglycemic at like a glucose of 3 and didn't inject themselves with insulin?
Usually at 3, they if I ever find out someone had a 3, it's because the coroner is telling me.
Right. So ultimately, gluconeogenesis never stops. But remember, your adipose tissue.
It's a normal process. So I mean,
yeah. But I think Anna, in our group, it's good to come. Our meetings on Monday nights, our live Zoom, and just being in the coaching course, because I think that there's such complexity to the story. But Tommy, maybe you could tell us, is it really necessary to know the science of this, or is there really just a simplicity to like eat meat, have faith, and fast from time to time, and if you go off of it, it's okay?
I think that's the key. I've heard some other your callers on calls talk about, that are even very data driven or science driven, say, man, if I don't feel good on it and people don't feel good on it, it's going to be hard to stay at it or stay with the data there. But for me, I want to feel better, and I want to also know that what I'm doing is better, and I'm someone that I guess as an individual really wants to know, how I'm feeling is good and supported by the other numbers of it. And I've seen that and I've felt that, and that's what I've been real encouraged about. But yeah, it starts with the feeling. I mean, why do we want to date somebody? Because we feel attracted to them, and we start there, and then we go deeper into the relationship. And we learn the complexity of it, and it starts to all work together, and we move forward.
The universe only cares about one thing:
making babies.
Making babies. Yeah.
I thought that's what you were gonna say.
Yeah, but that's it. That's actually the best. That's the best way. Making babies. Yeah. It doesn't care about your joy or happiness.
Yeah.
We got a couple questions.
Let's hit it.
Go ahead.
Let's see. Robin, carnivore for 2.5 years, went on a 2-day fast to recover from a cold. In about 30 hours, experienced flatulence. What's up with that? What's up with the farting?
the micro, no matter what it, okay, so, all right, so, cover a cold, all right, what's a cold caused by?
Microbes, a
Micro-
virus. Yeah.
Micro. What do microbes do? A bacteria, yeast, and viruses, they all come together. There's never just viruses, there's always everything. And
Okay.
remember, they're all parasites. All of them,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And what do they do they come from your gut. And what do they do in your gut? They ferment. What does fermentation make?
Yes.
Gas. They're everywhere. You breathe them, you drink them, you eat them. Even no matter who you are as a carnivore, nobody has zero gas. That's like like an impossibility, right? Because that means you're sterile in the gut, and truly, that's just not happening.
Exactly. Okay.
So-
Next. Oh.
And so we're always making gas. Again, only Dr. Nelson has no gas.
And Nelly.
And no,
North Carnivore.
Nelly,
go ahead.
Nelly left me last night for another man.
Oh,
She's
Your
taking care
grandson.
of her grandson, so she slept over there.
which is ultimately right. Like we're just donors. I'm saying in a very, very philosophical way, but we're doers because it takes the mother and the father to help raise the family and
Right.
be part of it. And there's lots of ways to do that. There's not just one way.
mm-hmm.
There is. Okay, Norse Carnivore, what do you think is the biggest myth about meat that people still believe?
The cholesterol will kill
Probably
you.
probably that eating meat is gonna kill you. Now, once in a while, you see a ray of hope in the literature, and so this is from 3 years ago. I just happened to see it in my feed yesterday, and it's just total meat intake is associated with life expectancy. It's an analysis of a bunch of populations. Interesting article, and totally counter to the blue zones conclusions, by the way.
Which, remember, the blue zones is all a trademark marketing ploy. That's all it is. There's no truth to most science. I hope people know this. Science is still produced by humans that have a mission for a money message. Remember, publish or perish. That's it. Profit or perish. Same thing. But ultimately, again, I mean, Tommy, how do you feel eating this and not this?
Yeah, much better on the meat for sure.
I mean, right. I mean, all we need to do is say, okay, eat only this for a month and eat only this for a month. See how you feel, right?
Yeah. Well, funny you say that, Dr. Kilt. So one thing about my journey too is I've gotten to live overseas a couple times. In 1 year, I lived in Hong Kong, and very tropical there. A lot of exotic fruit was brought in, and I was living on a pretty tight budget because it's very expensive. And I found myself at breakfast and then dinner buying and eating a lot of fruit because it's just what was so abundant and so cheap. And after a couple months, I remember one night I woke up and I was just starving. I was just like looking at myself in the mirror, looking at my weight, and was like, what is going on? And I was like, thought about it. I was like, man, for the last 2 months, I think I've just eaten fruit for the majority of my meals. And I remember going out that night in the middle of the night and going somewhere. Actually, I didn't always make the best health choice, but I went to McDonald's and got like 3 Big Macs and ate them, because I was just so hungry. But yeah, there's definitely a big difference between meat and fruit, and a meat myth that I think is pretty neat, and something I've learned recently in the coaching class is this idea of lean mass hyperresponder, and looking at your cholesterol with your LDLs and HDLs and triglycerides and kind of the sweet zone to get. And it just really encouraged me a lot that, yeah, I mean, I'm still not quite a year into this, but still at times look at numbers and things and have the natural tendency to go, ooh, this is not good. But as I learn more, especially through the coaching class, I'm able to unpack these things and really look at these things and so continue to say I'm feeling good, but also I'm doing good by what the data is driven to say.
And there are some people who they don't like tracking.
Yes.
But when you do tracking, you can also see sometimes there is some divergence of, there are some things that go one way, and so you have to take everything into context.
Yes.
You cannot rely on just one thing or just don't track at all. I am most of the time I'm not looking at my numbers of anything. When I want to track, I track.
Although it's a little entertainment, we do have fun with it, no doubt about it.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
And just, but what test have we found in science and medicine that we've been able to say, I'm going to put $1 billion on this test because I know how accurate it is? We at CNY Fertility transfer abnormal embryos and get normal babies. Well, that's not supposed to happen. Well, did the embryo change or are we wrong?
I tell you a test that is driven by $1 billion industry that I've run against recently that's been fascinating, and it's kind of driven this kind of idea of testing is I just renewed my life insurance. And so I had to do blood work. When I did it about 5 years ago for my first policy, again, I was eating the standard American diet. My numbers within what they wanted to be was like, oh, you're doing great, but after 6 to 8 months on carnivore, I tested and they said, ooh, we're going to have to insure you at a higher rate this time because you're unhealthy. And I discussed with my agent and even their underwriters, like, well, this is the carnivore diet. This is what I'm doing and stuff. And they were like, I probably shouldn't have said that because then I think that my rate went up another degree. But I've even tried to do some tricks. I think Dr. Nelson even mentioned a study or someone that was eating Oreos before a test, to get their numbers down or something. And I'm not really committed to eating Oreos before a blood test, but it's interesting to see that just kind of how our modern system rates us, and it says this is really bad when I'm like, I feel the best I ever have. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Dr. Nelson, what is the single leading factor that determines your life expectancy?
If I knew the answer, I would probably be a multi-billionaire. Being alive is very important for that.
Right, but it's your
one.
family life expectancy history.
Yeah.
How long did your parents, grandparents, their parents, and their parents live?
Oh,
single leading predictor.
Dr. Kiltz, you're wrong. Dr. Kiltz's life expectancy is Nelly. Determined by Nelly.
But ultimately that is the simplicity of it. And so it's back to your family stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's life insurance actuaries are determined by that more than anything else. But now we've thrown in all these numbers. So what's the opposite of a lean mass hyperresponder?
Fat mass.
Well,
resistor?
remember, so you have someone lean, but they have high LDL cholesterol, Dr. Nelson?
High total, high LDL, and high HDL.
Okay,
Those
so
are,
now you have someone has a high.
and low triglycerides.
Now you have the high mass person that has good numbers, right?
Interesting.
And ultimately, how predictable are we at determining your odds of I mean, we're all looking for heart disease, right? That's really the marker, right? And what's the leading cause of death is listed as heart disease, right?
Yeah, heart disease, cancer, and medical errors.
But then what's the leading cause of those things? Which is, I think, what we're really talking about, right? Which is inflammation secondary to eating this and not this. Because how many people do you know eat? I mean, when I went for a steak last night at a local restaurant, and I had to order a fillet because they had the center cut of a ribeye, which I knew what it was, and so I just said, bring me a ton of butter, but most people do not eat the fatty meat, even on the carnivore side.
Yeah. No, and that's interesting. When I started, I didn't. I thought I got to eat meat. I got to have protein. That's the key. And that mainly was not listening to what kind of the model was at first. And I noticed once I did eat so much more fat and really focused on that, one, I just enjoyed it better and it liked the taste better. But two is I started to see continual growth in carnivore. And I, really love that, our focus is, 80% fat, 20% protein. Because even kind of some of the things that people have said through the dangers of carnivore is protein poisoning. And I think being fat driven and letting that bring the nutrients into you really continues on carnivore to elevate, I feel like, my state.
I mean, is it better to be skinny or fat if you're going into the winter months for most organisms?
Mm-hmm. Fat.
And so even the sense of it's good to lose weight, well, what science have we shown that it's actually good to lose weight? We haven't shown that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
None of it. Again, we're so focused on skinny and losing weight when in fact fat causes no disease and obesity causes no disease. But if you're morbidly obese where you can't get up and move, I mean, that's deadly for any organism unless you're the queen bee and everyone's feeding you, right? Taking care of you, right? Cleaning you, right? Question here from Instagram, Serene Oliver. I've done 4-day fasting, and when I broke it, my saliva glands swelled and hardened, causing excruciating pain. It took days to go away. I want to fast again, but I'm scared. Can that be avoided? Was that likely a cause of effect, or was that likely a random issue that just popped up and just happened to be that? Any thoughts, Dr.
It
Nelson?
could have been random. I don't know if she had it diagnosed, or sometimes you can develop stones in the salivary ducts, and it sounds like it may have been something like that. Not sure. We need more information, but those things can happen at random. And even if you're fasting, I don't know, some people might say that could be oxalate dumping and developing the stones because of that. But it could have been something random.
Yeah,
There's no way.
And I've had that before, and it was just random, and I haven't had it again. Like I've had kidney stones, but when I went carnivore, they haven't come back yet. A common question, K022 on Instagram. Do we lack all the nutrients needed to support fertility, IVF, egg quality with strict carnivore?
You tell us. I don't think so.
What is this missing Nothing. It has all the minerals, vitamins, amino acids, simple sugars, glycans, and fatty acids, and cholesterol required for your reproductive needs. And it contains none of the poisons that are in this guy. And so ultimately, strict carnivore lions, fatty meat, salt water, and one meal a day to me is the game changer. So I think it's good. I think there's nothing missing in a carnivore strict lifestyle.
There is a question here from Brian Hughes. What is the current evidence on probiotics and their role in shaping gut microbiome? Beyond supplements, do fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, and sauerkraut have an impact on microbial diversity? Dr. Kiltz.
Dr. Nelson.
That's I love your answer. I know you answered, so go ahead and say it.
Microbes want to create fertilizer and food out of you. That's it. They're there doesn't mean they're good for us. And so this shaping of the microbiome, I mean, I think
shaping it into what?
For food and fertilizer.
Oh goodness.
And I was just pulling up an article on auto brewery syndrome. And methanogenic microbes. And basically the microbes in our gut make products like methane, ethanol, alcohol, aldehydes, heat gas, which are substances that damage the gut, and then they get into the bloodstream, the lymphatics, and they damage every cell of our body. So I don't think they're good for us. They just happen to be there. And when they're overgrowing, mostly from a standard 3 to 6 meal lean meat diet, they love you because and 99.9% of us have an overgrowth of microbes in our gut since the day you're born to the day you die. And so that's why the diseases of humanity are like growing immensely. And think about all the massive killers of humanity over the years. Just think of all the microbes, malaria, TB, polio, just the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And which one would you say is good for us?
None of them.
I think none of them. I don't know if you have any other comments, Tommy, what your thoughts are, but I'm not a probiotic fan personally.
No, I used to, when I would try different health trends or whatever, would think of what supplements do I need, what probiotics, what all of, healthy gut, healthy mind, this helps that. And I'm really a simple person. I like to be, and I know for me to build reliable systems, it has to be simple to follow. And so knowing that I can pull a steak out, let it defrost, put salt on it, cook it for a minute or two on both sides and eat it, and I feel good and I enjoyed it, that's good enough for me. And it's good enough for my family, my growing 1-year-old and 3-year-old and 14-year-old and 22-year-old, or my 62-year-old dad. It's simple, it's good.
Now, if someone insists on eating plants, preparing them properly, not eating them raw probably is better, and that includes cooking them to death, basically, or fermented vegetables. They may be less bad for you.
That's right. I have Tommy's photos, by the way, so I wanted to show them.
Yeah, go ahead. And remember, we all evolved together. All of us glowed together. So
that's right.
Awesome. What do we got?
So cute. So this is Tommy before and his beautiful wife. Is your 1-year-old right here?
Yes. Okay. Kindle.
Aw. And then this is after his vanity picture, as you said. Looks great.
It really is, but
It's a
you
cool
know,
picture.
I'm impressed with myself, and you know, and it's not. It really sums up how I feel. I feel so much more confident. I feel so much more able to do what I want and to be who I want. You know, a big driver for this health change is my family. You know, I want to be able to get down and play with my 1-year-old, my 4-year-old. I want to go camping. I want to wrestle. I want to just live and feel like I can do it and not be like, Daddy needs a nap. You know, I mean, I still nap, Dr. Kiltz, and that's a fun thing to do, especially me and my 4-year-old saying it's nap time. But
Yeah.
being able to have the energy and the ability and even the mental, you know, all the stressors of the world to come home and be able to say, I'm going to pour back into this family or pour back into my child here and not be like, oh, I'm just so frazzled all the time is so important to me. Because they don't care that I got yelled at work or that I got to do this invoice, but they care that their dad's there. And that's what I really want to be and do.
And ultimately, no matter what size you are, you will gain the confidence and the mindset through the carnivore lifestyle, I believe. But certainly we're all looking to shed the extras that in so many ways have held us back.
Yes.
And made us feel in a way that wasn't our very, very best in life, for sure. So you know, the beauty is carnivore is the game changer, and this lifestyle is for everyone. And Terry is the winner.
Hey, Terry.
Quickly, Alia at drkiltz.com for a copy of. And we got new versions coming out soon. Really excited about it, and always changing and growing. And you know, can you just eat this raw, Tommy? Is that okay?
Yes, it is. And I've been experimenting with your black and blue that you recommend, and I'm enjoying it more and more to do that.
Yeah, and rare to raw. Again, you know, what other animal cooks their food?
Yeah.
What other animal like focuses on the lean meat and not the vat? Fatty red meat is the best thing to eat. That's it. Rare to raw, a little salt and butter if you want, but they're not required. Any other cues out there?
Let's see.
Oh, here's one. Is it okay for me to go 100% carnivore if my thyroid has been removed?
Why not?
The answer is yes. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutamente. Yes. What's on the agenda for the week, Dr. Nelson? How's the rest of the week lining up? What's the next meetup we're seeing out there? And we got old guy carnivore coming on at
in a few minutes.
In a few minutes, and we're looking to link all of our lives around the globe together. And we're here to heal our brothers and sisters through healing humanity. And you know, this is really the way we're doing this together. It's an evangelistic journey, and we're all here really to share the Messiah's message. Eat the meat, be the master.
So today we have a live stream at 3 p.m. Like I had mentioned before. Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. again. On Monday we have Alia mentioned, right?
Oh no, that's at the end of the month. We have Monday. We have Matt Helper talking about metabolic health. And Dr. Kiltz is interviewing somebody interesting today on Carnivore Conversations. Nick Norwitz.
Nick Norwitz, yes.
Oh wow,
that's exciting.
But that's not coming out for a few weeks.
2 months. Yeah, for a few weeks, but still.
And as far as meetups, you can go to kiltzmeetup.com and see our list. I don't know if you're going to be in San Antonio. That's gonna be near Tommy
Yeah.
with Christopher and Brandlin. I don't know if Dr. Kills is going. Are you going?
In where?
September
Austin or-
27th in Dallas.
Yeah, I'm not
Dallas.
sure
It's
yet.
Fort Worth, I think.
Oh, Fort Worth.
Oh,
Yeah.
San Antonio is something else. Is that has nothing to do with carnivore.
Anna Kolash is asking where to find the coaching program, and she's on in KMT. Is
She
it-
needs to email me.
Is there when you go into KMT, is it a simple button right in the front?
No, it's not.
Make
It's
it. Make
okay.
it. Make
Yeah.
it. Simple button. Alia, Dr. Nelson and Alia's coaching program that we're really about. And all of us are becoming coaches for our brothers and sisters, our children's children. We need to be the shining light to sing the message out loud. Hallelujah. I mean, this is really a message of healing because all diseases are on the rise. And the simple answer is because the modern medical system says don't eat this and don't forget to eat plenty of these. And in fact, that's absolutely incorrect. And when I went to visit Dr. Dorothy Fink at HHS, my message was, this is what we want to eat. And, maybe it's not a metabolic disorder, but it's an inflammatory disorder. There's really nothing wrong with our metabolism. It's simply our bodies are inflamed, which might be a different way to look at it.
Might be. Oh, it's time to go because it's time to everyone to go over to Mitch's channel.
All right, we're going to go listen to Mitch.
Have a good day.
Have a great, awesome,
Bye,
amazing
everybody.
day. Instagram, see you tomorrow morning. Kilt's Mighty Tribe, see you tomorrow morning. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, everyone. Really
Bye,
enjoyed
everybody.
talking with y'all.
Thanks, Tommy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you,
Fantastic.
Tommy.